Hey guys, what's going on? Preparing here. In this video, I'm going to go over the basics of the auction house in Diablo 3. I'm not going to go over like strategy or anything like that because at the beginning, it's going to be very volatile. Like, there's going to be many different things, and I don't think anyone actually has any idea of how successful any one strategy is going to be. So the most important thing you can do beforehand is make sure you got down all the fundamentals, make sure you know all the factors and all the parameters surrounding the auction house and all the uses and all the technicalities of it. So that's what I hope to show you guys in this video, so you can come up with your own auction house strategy when the game goes live, and you can be pretty successful on your own. So you're in the game, you're logged in, you got your character here, and you're like, oh damn, I just got some wicked ass items that I want to sell in the auction house. So let me see how I can do that. So we're gonna click on auction house. This is pretty much the menu. The auction house system is really not that good in Diablo 3 if you compare it to World of Warcraft, but it's functional. Like, it works, more or less. So let's just go through everything. So the first thing here in the right tab, you can just get rid of the window if you want. I'm gonna bring it back up, and then you have the, I don't know what XTS is, but it's some bullshit. Anyway, so right now it's in gold mode because it says gold auction house balance 681. Basically, that means I'm poor as fuck. But let's say I wanted to go to real money auction house. I'd click on this button beside the X button, and then it switched. And now we're on the beta bucks. But in the real game, this would be the real life money auction house. So this auction house is totally separate from the gold auction house. And in this auction house, you can search and buy gold. So you're like, well, I want to buy 1K gold because I'm poor as hell. I have 50 XTS, which I don't know what that is, and then it shows like quantity 1,000 gold for $12.99. That sounds like an awful deal. But let's just say I wanted to buy some. Maybe that was a good deal. I'd go buyout, and then BattleNet balance XTX 50. Sure, I'll buy $12.99, and then it processes the auction. Completed. Cool. So now, if you log in the game, you're like, oh damn, where's my gold? Well, your gold didn't really go anywhere. You got to go to the completed tab, which is the final tab to the right over here. And here's my auction. See, I have 1 of 50 limit in terms of the items I have in queue. And this gold is like in limbo. It's not anywhere. So what I want to do is I want to send it to the stash. And now the gold would go in my stash. When you put gold in your stash, it's essentially shared across all your characters, so it'd go into every character's inventory. That's what I just did right there. And then if it's for an item, it would work the same way, but you'd take the item from your stash and you'd take it out with whatever character you'd want it on. Alright, so that's pretty much it in terms of buying items. When you're trying to sell items, so selling items or selling gold for instance, if you sell gold, you lose a certain amount. I think that amount is, let me try here. So I want to sell gold. You cannot sell less than 1,000 gold. Let me try to refresh this this thing here. So now I want to sell 1,000 gold because I just bought it for $12.99. So I'm like, okay, I have 1,000 gold per 1,000 gold. Well, I want to sell it for $12.98. That's what's up. Get undercut. All right. So let's create the auction. We can see here the transaction fee is 15%. These fees are going to change when the game is live. There's probably going to be a lot more shit to it, but I know for a fact if you sell gold, they take 15% in the beta. So you probably expect something like that, in addition to all the other fees that they're going to have in the auction house. So selling gold is going to have its drawback, because I know some of you are like, I'm just going to go to the gold auction house, sell the shit for gold, and I'm going to sell the gold for money and collect the money. Well, if you do that, you lose 15%. That's my point that I'm trying to get across. So now we want to sell for $12.98 because we want to be an undercutting asshole. And then shouldn't let me do that. 1,000 gold auction created. Pretty much it. So you got the search, which is essentially the buy tab, and then you got the sell tab, and you sell stuff either from your stash or your characters. So I have the stash here on the left. This is all the items in my stash. And I have my 3 characters here. And you see these items in red. These items are in red because they're damaged. So it says, you cannot sell damaged items. Please repair the item before selling it. Pretty straightforward. But if an item is at full durability, you can sell it directly from your character. And you see the character's inventory at the bottom as well. So everything that's in the game, you can look it up through the auction house, and you can sell it directly. And then you have your auctions to check the auctions, see what you've sold. The bottom here is usually for outbids or bids. And then you have the completed tab, and then it has all the history of the stuff that got completed. So pretty simple. That's about it. But let's go through all the tabs here. So you have equipment. When you go buy equipment, you essentially search for an item that your characters can use. So you see I have my 3 characters here, then I have Barb, Demon Hunter, Monk. So let's say I want to go to Monk. I want a Monk one-hander, I want a fist weapon. And let's just see what we get. So we get a bunch of fist weapons. So I could buy like none of these because I'm poor as hell, but let's say I want to bid on this, I can click on that. And at the bottom there's 2 tabs, there's bid, buy. I'm just going to bid. This is not worth anything, but cool. I'm going to bid on it. Process the auctions, and then I can go to auctions, and my bid should go over here and see that my status is winning. So it's pretty straightforward. And through the system you can search pretty much everything. The first tab is one-hand, two-hand, offhand, armor, follower, special, and then you choose the type of weapon or armor within the larger category. And then you can sort it by level, range, rarity. I don't even know what half of these are, so whatever. And these stats are really like fucked up, but you can also search it by stat. It really doesn't work very well though, so it's not really like a big deal right now. And then you get that's for equipment. That's the first tab under search, which search is the buy tab. Next tab is gems. So you get gems, chipped, flawed, normal, flawless, perfect, radiant, right at the end there, radiant star. We did the math. You need like 80,000 gems to get a radiant star anything. So you're probably never going to use the last half of these. But that's basically it. Pretty self-explanatory. Crafting and dyes. So crafting is like crafting mats. So there should be some normal, subtle essence, quantity 1. So this is the kind of shit that you get from like salvaging down items. And you can search for it. You can buy it directly. You don't have to get the items to salvage them yourself. This is like essentially like buying enchanting mats. That's what that is. Then you get dyes. There's not going to be any dyes in the game, but there's a lot of dyes here. I've never really seen any of them. I know vanishing dye. That's the cool one. You're like, vanishing dye? What the hell is that? Well, if you put vanishing dye in one of your items, it makes it invisible. So you can have like a naked character in full decked out Inferno gear. That's what I want. I want to be the guy that gets underestimated, you know? Gotta look naked and you just one-shot them. That's what's up. Alright, so that's crafting and dyes, pretty straightforward. Then you get pages and recipes. Pages and recipes is like, we're not going to find any right now. So I'm just going to tell you guys how it's going to work. So let's explain the blacksmith. The blacksmith, you have a certain amount of recipes that you gain by spending gold to gaining levels in like blacksmithing or jewel crafting or whatever. So you have blacksmith, jewel crafting, artisan, so all that other shit. And basically in the game, there's going to be these dropped items, which are going to be patterns. It's kind of like finding the really rare patterns for enchanting in World of Warcraft or blacksmithing or something like that. That's essentially what these are. And you would give this to your blacksmith, and you would then get that recipe. So you can search for these, and there's an auction house for them, so you can buy and trade the patterns just as you would in World of Warcraft. But there's a certain tab for it, so it's a little bit. Basically, the Diablo 3 auction house. That's about it, by the way, guys. The Diablo 3 auction house is it's a very specific search. And the reason it's a very specific search is because there's going to be a lot of items on it. So you're like, well, how many items can I put on it? Well, you can only put 10 items on the gold auction house, and separate to that, you can put 10 items on the real money auction house. So you can only have a maximum of 20 auction at the same time. But there's probably going to be a crapload of optimistic people. They're like, oh man, that's the best item I've ever seen. It's got Dex. I'm a barb. I don't need Dex. I'm going to put it up on the auction house. And they're going to find 20 more items like it. And they're going to be total crap. And no one's going to buy them. So the reason they have all this shit put in place is because they want you to be able to find the items that you're actually looking for. Because there's going to be an unbelievable amount of garbage items on the auction house. So don't be fooled. Like, well, my point is like, okay, so let's go to gold. There's actually more items on the gold on the beta. So you go to equipment. Let's just go one-handed. I want the best one-hand in the game. I want to smash up some noobs. Let's go search. Oh man, 16.2, that's the best one. I'm going to buy that one up. You know, that's probably not going to be your best item. That's why they have all the search features, because I don't know if I'll find one here, but there might be like a 15 DPS weapon with like 40 strength, and for a barb, that'd be significantly better. So, you know, you gotta keep in mind all the other stats and everything else that could possibly mislead you from the first top selections. So that's why it's so there's so many options to specifically look for what you're trying to find. And the disadvantage is that if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up buying crap items. So it's a really good idea to do your homework and get the knowledge down in this game. And that's about it with the auction house. Pretty cool though. You got any questions on the auction house? Yeah, now showing page 1 of 500,000. Yeah, that's right. Oh, one more thing. When you post an auction, here's something actually pretty important. So the auction that I posted, the 2 gold, time left 1 day, 23 hours. It's actually letting me cancel them right now, and I've never seen that before. But when you post an item, I'm pretty sure it does not let you cancel. So I think with gold you can cancel it, but with items, when you list an item, it's listed for 2 days, and you cannot cancel it. Okay? You can cancel it within the first 5 minutes. It gives you like a buffer. So let's try that. So this sword, oh man, this is the best sword I've ever seen. Starting price. Are you kidding me? 9999999. Whatever, bro. Whatever. All right. And I don't know. Deposit funds to net balance. Like, oh, I can't create an auction. Do I have too many? Too many nines? Too many nines? Okay. I should need a buy at price. All right. That's probably bugged. Give me a second, guys. Alright, the 999 screwed it up. There we go. Whatever. Create auction. Alright, so you just made an auction. See, cancel is 5 minutes. After this 5 minutes is up, I won't be able to cancel it. So you wanna be damn sure you didn't put like the wrong item on the auction house, because after the 5 minute mark, you will not be able to take it off. Right now, it's actually not listed. This 5 minute waiting period is just like a buffer in case you made a mistake. But after the 5 minute period, it's on the auction house. It's there for 2 days. You have no chance of taking it off the auction house. Yeah, if you get undercut, you cannot cancel your item. That's correct. Now, there's a few things that I missed in the live version of the guide. So the first thing that's actually really important is that when you buy an item off the auction house, it will have a 1 day, 24-hour period where you cannot trade the item. And this is actually a very strict restriction. You won't be able to relist the item, so you can't buy and sell immediately. But also, if you buy an item and it'll show this number, like you cannot trade this item for 24 hours, then it'll drop down 15, 10 hours, so on. You can't even give it to other players. Like if you drop it on the ground, other players will be like, they'll see it on the ground, but they can't pick it up. They'll click on it and it wouldn't work. So you gotta keep that in mind. Like, you know, if you're doing the auction house search and you want to get an item for your friend, you should tell your friend to buy it, because if you buy it for him, you won't be able to hand it over to him within 1 day. So that can be kind of an issue. Also, when it comes to the real money auction house, after I made this guide, they announced that there will be no real money auction house for the first week of Diablo 3. So I mean, unless, I don't know, you have a bunch of fans and you make a video and you request them to farm gold for you or something like that, the markets and the progression is going to be pretty even. Now, when it comes to the use of the real money auction house, you do it just like I said in the video with real money, but you have to put this money into your account. So it's called like the BattleNet balance. You guys can check it out there. You see I put 10 bucks on the BattleNet balance. I want to have some available just in case some good deals pop up. Why not? 10 bucks, whatever. And the way it works is you can load it from your credit card or from like a PayPal account. You know, that's pretty flexible, but there's a few things that are not so flexible. So now, before I get into the restrictions of the BattleNet balance, let's go over the fees. So when you're buying, when you're selling, how does that actually work? So within the gold auction house, there's a 15% cut. Like if you list the item, costs you nothing. You sell the item, you lose 15% of the final selling price. Kind of like World of Warcraft with their auction house. And it's the same with the real money auction house, but it's a little bit different. There is a cut, but it's not flat 15%. For items like weapons and stuff, it's $1. So they subtract $1 from the final selling price if you list it on the real money auction house. Now, for non-items like consumables, they charge 15%. So 15% of the final selling price would be deducted automatically when you sell the item, but to list the item will also cost you nothing. Now, there's a few other fees. So the other fees come in when you want to take the money out and put it in your PayPal account, because when you sell an item, you'll have the choice. Do you want the money, the profit from the item to go towards your Battle.net balance? If you do that, no problem, full amount. The second option is you can get that money and send it directly to your PayPal account. Now, you can't do this afterwards. So if you have like a huge Battle.net balance, you can't take the Battle.net balance and move it to your PayPal. You cannot do that. You can only send the money to PayPal right when you sell the item. And if you do that, there's 15% on top of all the other fees that you just paid. So let's say you sell some, I don't know, some gold. So they take 15% from the gold, then you get that money, you get like, let's say $15. Well, take another 15% off when you send it to your PayPal account. So you got to be careful. You got to know these things when you're considering like profit margins and reselling, which is going to be a big part of the auction house. Now, there's another thing with the Battle.net balance that I said I'd get to. So the Battle.net balance has a few limitations. I believe it's about $100 unless you put an authenticator on your account. If you put an authenticator, it raises the cap to a maximum of $250. Now, there's another thing. So if you want this $250 balance, you have to attach an authenticator, and I really recommend you do that. But the other thing is that if you're selling the items, if you're receiving the money, and you plan to take this money and move it to your PayPal account, there's another thing you have to do. You have to set up for these mobile alerts through your Battle.net account. And basically what that is every now and then it'll send you like codes to your cell phone to verify things. I don't know when that will be prompted, but they actually made it a requirement. So you cannot actually withdraw money from these auctions to your PayPal account unless you have the mobile alerts activated. And of course, you need a cell phone as well. And of course, you need a PayPal account as well. So get that stuff set up. You don't want to be dealing with this crap when the game is already out. You want to be playing the game. So make sure you get that thing in check in the next few days so you don't have to worry about it, and you can own up that auction house knowing all the basics that you've learned in this video. Have a good time, guys. See you tomorrow.